Hey, Ali Madawi here with you, your strategic partner. And today I'm going to be talking to you exactly about a few different things that will definitely help you out to get your numbers up, to get your virality up, to get your views up, to get your engagements up. Now, this is the very first time that I took on a brand new streaming platform to start getting the word out in YouTube directly, on Periscope directly, on Facebook. Obviously, we do have an audience already established in there, but I felt like we've been holding back from these other platforms. And I can give you my word, starting today, you're going to be seeing a whole lot of us and everything that we've done. A little bit of an introduction. We've been working in the entrepreneur community for just about 12 going on 13 years. I am a founding member of an entrepreneur community called the Young Entrepreneur Project, where we work with over 4,000 entrepreneurs in just a little over 10 countries. And I'm also the founder and CEO of Medawi Enterprise, where we work with struggling entrepreneurs to become success stories by leveraging social media, business development skills, and obviously to increase the brand equity and some revenue as well. So today we're going to be focusing on what we call the 3x4 game plan to dominate in a social media space. So if you are in business and you are trying to capitalize on the social media space, it is absolutely imperative for you and I to understand that as much as we want to create virality, as much as we want to have people paying attention and talking to us, we don't get everybody to listen, or maybe people get in and get right out, or we get trolled with a lot of negativities out there. So I'm going to share with you what we do with every one of our clients to actually create an authority and to create a system for themselves where they can have a long-term game with a little bit of a process that I know for a fact will work for you as it worked for the tens of thousands of people that we've worked with. So here it is. Why do we call it the 3x4? There are three questions that you must answer, and then there's four questions. So the first three are all about marketing, and the second four sets of questions are all about operations. So let's go into the marketing question. The very first question that you want to be able to answer is, who do you help? If you cannot tell me right off the bat the specific demographic that you are helping, not only you are confused with the content that you're creating, but the other individual on the other side that's watching this video right now might not feel the relatability. They just don't relate to what you're talking about. I'll give you an example. You and I can have the best filet mignon in the world, but we can go to the East Asia and a predominantly a huge population in India that does not eat red meat. So you may say, oh my goodness, we got half of India available to us right now, about 500 million people. We're going to capitalize on this market. And then you realize no one is eating red meat. Does it matter how good of a filet mignon do we have? No, it doesn't, because we went to the wrong demographic. So you as an operator, you as a marketer, you as a promoter have to be very clear on who you are talking to. If you notice, the very first thing that I've done, I told you who we work with, our entrepreneurial community and the entrepreneurs that we've worked with. So you know right off the bat, if you're watching this, you are interested in entrepreneurship, you are a startup company, or you are an entrepreneur yourself. Very first thing. So who do you help? Incredibly important in order for you to have the ability and the opportunity to be able to identify that demographic and relate to them right away. Now, the second question in marketing is, how do you help them? If you notice at the very beginning, I told you that we work with entrepreneurs by leveraging social media and specific business strategies so they can create the result, right? So if you don't tell me the how component, again, I don't feel like there is value for me to sit there and watch your information. I'm like, okay, great, who cares, right? I'm not feeling the relatability itself. So again, by default, it is extremely imperative that you're letting the person know who you are and how I will be helping you. Otherwise, you're not going to have any connection with the audience. Therefore, they get in, they get out, or they don't even bother because they've seen something before that they didn't relate to. Okay. Now, the third question in terms of the marketing questions that you have to be able to answer is, what results do I create for them? If you notice, if I go back to the very beginning, what do I say that the results that we're creating? To increase their brand equity and revenue. So you know that the ultimate result that we're going to create for you working together is brand equity, where your audience now is in love with you and increasing regularly, and it translates to revenue, because the bigger the network, the bigger the conversion, the bigger the profits, the general revenue and profits, of course. So that's the ultimate goal for you being an operator, other than the impact that you're making on the marketplace itself. So those were the first three questions. Now let's go ahead on the four. These four that I'm about to share with you, they're very important in terms of operations. So if you are in operations, or if you are the person who is making decisions in your business, and I take the chance and say that most solopreneurs or entrepreneurs, they start as a one man or a one woman show that does it all. So allow me to share with you the four operational questions that you must answer in order to make the right decisions. The very first one is, what is your vision? See, when you hear the idea of vision, first things first, you think about the next 2 to 5 years. Well, that's part of it. But a vision is something that I can live in the moment and I can envision. So you have to tell me what was, what is, and what will be. In other words, if I wanted to raise money right now for a company, I have to share the person. Well, let me tell you where we started in our core values and how we've become who we are in the business community. So that's the past. And today we are servicing, doing, creating, impacting. That'll be the present. And in the next 2 to 5 years, we're looking forward to doing and achieving and establishing and growing to that will be the future. Why is that important? See, when you're talking to, whether it's an employee that you're trying to hire, whether it's a prospect that you're trying to enroll as a customer, whether it's an investor that you're trying to have in your business, it is incredibly important that that person can live in the moment your actual vision. Because if they fall in love with your vision, they fall in love with your core values. Therefore, 90% of the work is done. Now, they just have to make sure that they understand the business model to make the final decision. But they have to fall in love with you first, and only through a vision, an established vision of what was, what is, and what will be, can actually create that emotion itself. The second question of the operations questions is, what culture are you creating? See, every company has a culture. When you think about McDonald's, I'm loving it, right? It's a comfortable, family-oriented. Whether you like the food or not, they have an established culture. Think about Nike, the Swish. Just do it. It's challenging. It's aggressive. It's empowering, right? That's their culture. So anyone who wears the Nike gear, they feel that empowerment. They feel the challenge and attitude. So they have an established culture. What culture do you have within your company? See, the culture is important not only internally for your employees, for your business partners, for your sales team, for anyone and everyone that is involved, but also for your prospects. See, people love to be part of things. They love to be part of a culture. I'll give you an example. iPhone versus Android. Both companies, both products, they have a culture, and they are willing to like go crazy online and fight it out. And one is saying one is better than the other. And the reality is both phones are $800 to $1,000, and they both use same exact tools that are creating those phones. But because of the culture that they created, there are die-hard fanatics that are willing to go the distance and die for that product or for that brand. So what culture are you creating where the person is going to fall in love with and want to be part of, right? So it's incredibly important, as your second question of operation is, what culture am I creating, right? Number three, and this is where most companies and brand partners and individuals struggle with, and that is, what is the problem that you and only you solve? See, whatever answer that you're going to give me, I should not be able to go on Google or Bing or Yahoo, or wherever search engine that you are utilizing, and I should not be able to find the answer. If I find the answer, again, you no longer have any relevance, and you can't compete in the marketplace because there's someone out there who's giving this information for free, like I'm doing right now, Or there's someone who's just gonna undercut you in pricing or over deliver, and now you're competing. And we don't really like the idea of competition, right? We just want to make sure that we have our culture and our business intact and slowly but surely growing. I'm okay with slow growth, but I'm not okay with no growth at all. I gotta see progression, right? So what problem do you and only you solve only revolves on if you listen to the question exactly specifically, what problem do you and only you solve? Now, let me help you out with the answer before your brain explodes. See, as a solopreneur, right? Anything and everything you've ever encountered as an adult or even in a younger age that you've overcome, now it becomes almost a sense of responsibility. Think about all the failures that you've had. Every one of those, you got to add it to a checklist that I can help you do this and I can help you do that. See, what I do know is if you've messed up your credit and you figured out how to bring it back up to 700, 750, you can now teach people how to solve that problem. If you had a car repoed and you figured out how to buy another car or whatever the case may be, you figured out that problem. If you went through depression and you figured out how to get your life around, if you went through foreclosure and you figured out, so I can give you all types of different problems that you can resolve. But it all comes down to the willingness of you to be open with that individual as a prospect. Because here's what's going to happen. Especially as you're starting phases, many of your prospects are going to try to compare you to others who are just marketing themselves a little bit better than you, maybe because they have budgets to doing so. So you want to be able to say, can I just be frank with you for a second? I understand that there are many people out there and there's many of this information found on YouTube. But you know what you won't find on YouTube or anywhere else is the fact that since I was this age, here is what I've overcome, and here's what I've learned, and here's what I've established, and here's what I've done, and here's what I've done, and here's what I've done. And while there are many people who may be claiming the same exact thing, I'm right here in front of you, and I believe that I'm the most qualified candidate and company to work with you. Now, obviously, we work with our clients to cultivate that messaging with honesty and truth based on their circumstances, based on their problems that they've resolved. But you're going to have to identify that because your own business DNA is only your own. When someone sees the timeline of your problems that you've resolved that led you to become where you are right now as an operator, there's no one else, even if there may be other individuals, but no one else has those very specific problems and the timeline that led to your greatness. And that makes them fall in love with you even more and feel, wow, I can work with that. So definitely identify what problems do you and only you solve. Last but not least, this question that you must answer, this is important and relevant to you and only you. Your prospects don't care about this and no one else. It only matters to you as an operator. What is your budget? If you are not operating on a budget, you're living paycheck to paycheck in the business space. That's all there is to it. If you're not operating on a budget, you're like, oh my God, there's a website that I can get. Let me see how much I have in my account. Now you're taking money out of other responsibilities, even your personal responsibilities such as bills, and you're banking on the idea of, oh, I'm going to make money back. And here's what I'm here to tell you. Business never gives you what you want. It gives you what you deserve. So if you are not planning and waiting for greatness and preparing for just in case something goes wrong, the wrong will happen and it will punch you right in the face where you now are saying, I gotta take a step back and figure out what's going on in my personal life. And once you take a step back, let me tell you, it's hard to get back into it. And you lose steam, you lose momentum. And the few people who have trusted your brand, the few people who are willing to give you attention, time, effort, whatever it may be, guess what just happened with those individuals? You failed them. You now said, I'm stepping away from you. I'm walking away from you. And then when you come back, I'm speaking here from experience, when you do come back and think to yourself, you know what? I got this thing. I'm back like I never left. Hey, everybody, come back and hang out with me. They're like, I'm not sure I want to do this. And I've made these mistakes my very own self is why I'm sharing them with you right now. So here's a recap for your 3x4. The first three questions there for marketing. Who do you help? How do you help them? And what are the results that you create for them? The four questions that follow are questions for operations. And here they are. What is your vision? What was, what is, and what will be? Two, what is the culture that you are building, right? So people can fall in love and want to be part of it. Number three is what problem do you and only you solve? And number 4, what is your budget? That way you are making the sound, proper business decisions and not falling in any trap. For more information or any help and assistance and a lot more giveaways and perks like I'm doing with you right now, you can go right now to winwithali.com. That is winwithali.com, and you can go ahead and see everything and all the value that we're providing. Heck, you can even apply for freebies, free giveaways, and to have access to our platform so you can be featured as a speaker and we can talk about your options there as well. So I cannot thank you enough, and I will be seeing you in the very next videos. For more fun stuff like this, meet me on Facebook. I'll be doing a live broadcast at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight on a totally different topic. I appreciate you and thank you. And until next time, this has been Ali Madawi, your strategic partner. Take care, everybody.